this idea of trying to get people on your team to do a little bit more. Have I shared that idea with you? These jumbled in my mind. Get people to do a little bit more, just a little bit more than they would have done. That's our job as leaders. When we have a volunteer army, is to get people to do a little bit more than they would have done without us, okay? If they were going to talk to one person, well, can we get them to talk to two? If they're going to recruit 3 people, can we get them to stretch for 10? If they were going to invite one prospect to watch a Zoom, can we get them to do 5? Or even some of them, can we get them to show up instead of not showing up? This compounding of little tiny things to get other people to do something that they wouldn't have done without us is actually very important. Now, I want to flip that for a moment and flip it on you. What can we do to get you to do a little bit more this week than you were planning to do? What were you planning to do this week? How many hours were you planning to work? Most of you don't have a plan, okay? And I understand that you don't have a plan. I get it. But I was mapping out my plan for this week last night, and for the last 30 minutes, I've been mapping out my plan for the week, and it is a jumble right now. I can't tell you exactly what my week is going to be because I'm still mapping it out. How many hours were you planning to work with income producing activities this week in the next 7 days? Will 5 hours a week allow you to win? I don't know your circumstance, but we're here to stretch ourselves to do more than the average person. It might move you forward a tiny, it'll keep you in the game. That's what 5 hours a week will do. It'll keep you around, right? But is it gonna really help you change your life? I mean, do you wanna change your life or not? If you wanna change your life, we have to look at that. You guys have already raised your hand and said, you know what? I'm in, I wanna do this. I wanna go, I wanna have a breakthrough. I wanna have experience. I'm showing up at 11 a.m. Pacific time to have this discussion. But then I saw a lot of 5s and 10s. So, I'm not your friend if I don't tell you the truth. And it's hard to do this individually because we're having a group discussion. But I want you to just pretend that we're sitting down together in your living room, in your kitchen, whatever. And we're having a conversation, just the two of us. And you tell me 5. And I say, my friend, I love you. I care for you. I want to see you win. What can we do to change that number? What is stopping you from growing that number? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it procrastination? Is it the distractions in your life? Is it your own limiting beliefs? What is it? And I would have this conversation. Is it your belief that even if I do more, it's not going to matter that much? Is it being concerned that maybe you're not as skilled as you want to be and you need some help or somebody to be with you to do it? Because I want you to imagine that I was able to replicate myself and I moved in with you for the next 7 days. I slept on the couch. I took your spare room, and my job for 7 days was to help you do as much as you can possibly do. If I really did that, how many hours could you work over the next 7 days? If I really did that, would you really let me sit in your house while you only worked 5? And I'm just sitting there waiting for you to be done scrolling and cooking and laundry. And I'm just driving with you to the grocery store, mowing the lawn. Okay, we're mowing the lawn. Feel kind of weird, right? That was happening. So what I want you to just kind of imagine, what worked for me, the thing that I needed to learn is I was waiting for someone to show up and make me do what I was capable of doing. Because that's what happened in every job. There was a system and a structure that forced me to do what I was capable of doing. And when I came out of that employer structure, I just didn't know what to do with myself. I did what I normally do at home, which was nothing really, busy stuff. So I didn't have a structure. And because I didn't have a structure and I was willing to negotiate with myself, I would get my feelings hurt and I would just quit for the day. Or I'd be just slightly disappointed and I'd quit for the day. I'd have bad hay fever or allergies. And I would say, you know what? It's just a bad hay fever allergy day. I guess I shouldn't do anything. So I would negotiate with myself like crazy. And I say, you know what? I'm going to get rid of my other to-do list today so I can really work tomorrow. I did that a lot. if I get the lawn mowed and I get the garage cleaned out, because I can't look at that garage like it is in the summer, and all the other neighbors have their garages cleaned out and mine looks embarrassing every time they open up the garage door. So I got to get that done. And I got to, I got to replace the filters in the laundry machine. And, there's no food in this house and I feel like a bad parent. So I got to go get some food and day's gone. You think about your day off work, right? Yeah, you know what you do during your days of work if you're working for somebody else. But the days off work are, I just spent 4 days with my daughter, my son-in-law, and 3 kids, 5.5 and under. I know what they're doing in their days. It is holding on for dear life. That's what they are doing. They're holding on for dear life, and they are tag teaming, and they're exhausted the entire time. And, they're coping. They're trying to keep these people alive. And I have my grandson, Arthur, who's 2 yesterday. He's like one of those kids that he's wound up too tight, like a toy that's been wound up way too tight and then just released. He literally hurts himself 10 times a day, running into walls, chairs, over, falling down steps. I mean, he has no brakes. It's all gas, 1,000 miles an hour, right? So I watched this and I'm like, okay, it took me back, to like, man, little kids is a young person's game. It is great to be a grandparent, wind them up, hand them back. It's amazing. But any of your grandparents out there know what I'm talking about. Spoil them like crazy and hand them back. But what I'm saying with them is what I would say to you. During the week, they have a different coping mechanism because they run 2 businesses than on the weekend. On the weekend, they're swamped. But during the week, they have a different coping mechanism. And I want to ask you to have a different coping mechanism in your daily method of operation that causes you to be engaged in income producing activity and not in your to-do list and not in your overwhelm and not in your being out of control of your life. Because if you're telling me 5 hours for the next 7 days or 10 hours or even 20 hours for the next 7 days, you're not in control of your entrepreneurial life. You're just not.